Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. Today, I've got a few headlines. One of them is on the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, and then I have another one about El Salvador, and they're kind of backtracking on their Bitcoin stance. So we'll dive into those articles after we get started with the morning breakdown. So let's dive on in and get you prepped for some success today. We do have a bit of a mixed bag this morning, just like we did yesterday morning. We've got Apple sitting up a 0.46% from its close, sitting down a 0.15 in the pre-market right now. We do have Nvidia sitting down 4.1, sitting down in the pre-market as well, sitting down 0.55% right now. Looking kind of nasty for Nvidia. I was expecting a little bit more downside, and that's why I didn't deploy any capital on it. But I think we're getting to that point where I might deploy some capital on Nvidia. Got Berkshire Hathaway sitting down at 0.15%. And the pre-market sitting up just a little bit, up 0.42%. Got Amazon sitting quite neutral, sitting down at 0.45, and the pre-market also sitting neutral, down 0.01% right now. We've got Eli Lilly sitting down just 0.11 for its close on yesterday, sitting down just a little bit in the pre-market as well, down 0.15%. We've got ExxonMobil is sitting up a 0.58 off of a bit of a mixed bag on that crude oil information we had gotten yesterday, sitting up in the pre-market as well, up a 0.15%. We've got Tesla sitting down at 2.26% in the pre-market, looking to take back all of those losses from yesterday, sitting up at 2.14. We got P&G sitting quite neutral, up 0.02%. And the pre-market sitting up a 0.34% right now. We've got Microsoft sitting down a little over 8% in the pre-market, also seeing some heavy sell-off, down 4.03. We've got Google sitting up just a little bit in that neutral range, up 0.06, and the pre-market seeing some buying pressure, up 1.05. We've got Meta sitting quite neutral as well, up 0.32, and the pre-market seeing some buying pressure as well, up 1.10. For the crypto side of things, we are sitting quite green this morning. We've got Bitcoin sitting up 1.46%, Ethereum sitting up 3.46%, we've got XRP sitting up 0.98%, we've got Solana up quite nicely, 5.9%. We've got BNB sitting up 1.57, Dogecoin up 2.44, Cardano sitting up at 2.26. We've got Tron sitting up at 3.61. Chainlink sitting up at 3.16. And to wrap out the top 10, we've got Avalanche sitting up at 3.58. And SWI is that big winner in that top 10, sitting up at 12.73. And Stellar Lumens up at 2.04. And HBAR up 1.73. We do have some heavy data coming out for today. There's a lot all over the world today, not just in the US. We did get some unemployment coming out of the UK, some GDP from the European Union as well, looking like a bit of a slowdown there as well, like is forecasted here and in the countries as well that make up the European Union. So looking like a bit of a slowdown across the board, not just here in America. We do have GDP coming out first thing in the morning at 8:30 today. That will be GDP quarter over quarter and GDP price index quarter over quarter, as well as those initial jobless claims. This will be a heavy market mover for the morning. We do look like we're having a bit of a slow up on those initial jobless claims, but that GDP is looking to head in the wrong direction. The continuing jobless claims from last week are looking to be corrected down just a little bit, so that is a bit positive. I don't think it outweighs the GDP data that we are seeing. We are seeing quite a bit of a slow up here, forecasted to be 2.6% from 3.1% growth. This is quite a bit of a slowdown here. The GDP price index as well is increasing. This is not very good information when you're talking about the consumer, and we might be seeing a bit of a tick up on that consumer price index that is coming here next month. We will have to keep our eyes out on that as well. We do have pending home sales coming out at 10. That is looking to be a slow up as well. Month over month and year over year looking like a bit of a slow up here. We do have later in the day some more data coming out of Japan, and that will be that Tokyo CPI, and that's going to be that big market mover for the Asia trading session. That is going to be at 6:30 Eastern time. They also do have unemployment as well. Other than that, we're going to be looking for Friday's data to be that end of the week big move. I do think we might see a bit of a move down off of today's data, and I'm definitely prepared for it. I do think some of that move is also going to be in preparation for the consumer price index that we will be seeing tomorrow. This is going to be the core PCE that we producer price index that we will be seeing tomorrow, and it's looking like it's ticking up in the wrong direction while that year over year is staying steady. So a bunch of bad data coming out for the next couple of days could send the market back down to pick up some of that liquidity. Let's hop over to that fear and greed for the morning. We do have the stock market up another point, staying in that neutral range. We'll kind of have to see if we get that move back down on things, especially with the data that we will be seeing. Crypto is sitting down 2 points and in that 70, just sitting in that greed range here. We do have the liquidation heat map for that 24-hour looking quite nice for a little bit more of a push to the upside. That is that 106 400 range, and I do have that marked out on my chart as well as an area that we might need to get above and confirm as support if we really want to continue this upside here. That is the closest hotspot on our 24-hour. If you zoom that on out to our 3-day, it is the same hotspot there. So it's really looking like the point that they might try to go grab some liquidity. We do have that 1 week with liquidity very heavily to the upside as well, starting at that same range, 106,000. We do have a bit of a gap there, starting at 106,500. So if we get up to that range, we might wick a little bit above it and leave this liquidity to the top side to be grabbed a little bit later when we continue that move to the upside there. That is 107,500 where we see that next batch of liquidity. You zoom that on out to the 2 week, that's where you start seeing some of that liquidity to the bottom side. You have some sitting at that 97,500 range. We'll kind of have to see if we go to grab some of that. That 1 month also looking like there's some liquidity on the bottom side, sitting a little under 80,000 now, and another little hot spot at 76. I don't think we go to grab some of that. We do have some light hot spots sitting at that 97 and a little bit lower at that 95,100 range. Let's say good morning to the chat. I see it's moving quite quickly this morning. We've got Jeffrey Stone Cipher in here, French Toaster. We've got Arsan246, Jesse Gulak saying good morning, and those rib chat. Let me drop those ribs in the chat for you. If you got that emoji, drop it in the chat for them. We've got Donato Cabrera saying good morning, good morning. We've got Paul Caruso saying good morning, brother. Good morning to you as well. Jesse Gulak saying he's running on 3 hours of sleep. That's not healthy, Jesse. That's not healthy. Stop being a degen. Or keep being a degen and then sleep when you're wealthy. That's what I always say. I know the saying is sleep when you're dead, but I like the saying sleep when you're wealthy because it gives me a little bit more of a feasible target to try to hit. Jake Fagan saying, is Pepe dead? Will I need to sell at a loss? I'm down 25%. Well, we can definitely take a look at Pepe later in the show. Let me get that added to the list. I don't really take a look at meme coins very often, but I can most definitely take a look at it for you. We've got Al Jr. saying, good MF morning, y'all. LFG, damp it. Well, good morning to you, Al Jr. We will take a look at those charts and see if that's what's headed your way. Jesse, yearly VWAP upside down macchiato. Maybe a Band-Aid in the chat, dropping that coffee cup. Good morning to you. Maybe a Band-Aid. Sink in Toaster. Who's got the super base? Jay Violet in here saying good morning to everyone. Good morning to you, Jay Violet. Oh, let's see. We got Corny G in here dropping some corn. I'll drop some corn in the chat for you. I'm in Nebraska, so we definitely like our corn here, and we do a lot of corn husking. So dropping some corn in the chat for you. Let's see. Anyone else in the chat? Anyone? No, I'm not seeing anyone else. Well, good morning to all you lurkers as well. Let's hop over to that Bitcoin chat. If anyone does have any alt requests they'd like me to take a look at, go ahead and drop those in the chat. These news articles will be kind of quick, so I've definitely got a bit of time to take a look at some assets today. I can drop corn every morning. Well, I might have to make myself a new emoji. I know Alexandra G uses the tiger emoji for me, but it might have to be tiger and corn since I am in Nebraska. So, well, looking like my chart's having a bit of a problem. Oh, let me try to refresh that here. Well, looks like one of my indicators is not going to show up for the morning. So might have to reboot TradingView later, but we will get this going. I don't know why it's not working now, but it was working fine earlier. We do have the MACD is sitting at that point where we might see a bit of a cross here to the top side and try to hit back at that 106,481 that I've had drawn out for quite a while. That is also right where that liquidity is sitting. We are right at that point where we're trying to see a little bit more of a move to the upside, but that MACD line is looking quite sideways here as it's crossing the indicator line. So we would need to see some volume and some positive money flow coming on in. Let's zoom this on in to our 4-day and kind of see where we're sitting there. Oh, well, my indicator's working on the 4-hour for some reason, so there we go for that one. You do have your money flow looking quite nice on the 4-hour, looking like a bit of a rollover though, as we got above a key area that I wanted to see us hold as support. That's going to be that 104,700 range, which we might get a little bit more of a bounce at. We'll kind of have to see what those shorter term time frames are saying. You do have your MACD looking like it's got plenty of room to run here on the 4-hour. You've got a nice gap from your indicator line as both of those have moved above the 0 line. We're seeing some slight curvature here, but nothing too worrisome. You do have your prime oscillator flashing its first reversal signal, but your volume is starting to pick up here. So definitely something to keep your eye on the higher term time frames. There is a bit more potential to run here on this 4-hour chart. Might see a bit of a pullback, and that's where we'll have to take a look at that 1 hour, as we're seeing that small little cross on our indicator line to the bottom side on the MACD. Your money flow is staying nice and solid here on your 1 hour, as your volume is starting to pick back up as well. And definitely something that looks quite nice to see us try and hold this 104,700 range as we try to cool these oscillators off just a little bit and let this positive money flow really pick price back up. This is where we'll have to zoom in to that 15-minute and kind of see where we're sitting here. We do have that 15-minute already cooling off, as we've been moving quite sideways. This is a positive thing to see, as we're coming back to this indicator line, line I've had drawn out, where we got a big push off of, and when we tried to battle before coming back down to our 103 to really get that bounce to the upside on. We are cooling off on both the prime oscillator and our MACD. We do have a bit of a divergence here, but we're not really seeing any crazy rollover on that money flow. It is still looking quite nice, having a lot of buying pressure all the way down from that 4-hour to the 15-minute. So if we do see us maintain this range, it does look nice for that push back up to that 106 to grab that liquidity, and then we might drop all the way back down to that 103. This is that area that has been a nice support range, especially if some of the data is looking a little bit bad today. That's kind of where I have my eye on some bottom side. I do have another little area below that at about 102,700. That'd be that next little area I would kind of look at. That is right above a lot of those bottom side moving averages. So definitely a nice little bounce range there. Frankie's next stream, next 24-hour stream. That sounds like a lot of work there, Jesse. I don't think I could ever stream 24 hours. I did 2 hours for the inauguration, and that one was kind of rough, and I had people there with me. So that helped out a bit, but like, these hour streams are a lot sometimes. By the end of it, I'm needing to like chug a lot of water and like get the throat lubricated, because I never realized how much talking for an hour straight can really hit you. We've got Arsan saying good morning to everyone. Maybe a Band-Aid saying, Al Jr., quit trying to get that software forever stuck on my system. I'm not sure what that one is about. Got Arsan asking for XRP and SOL. XRP and SOL. Let's get those added. LimeWire. Oh, God. That's what he was talking about. I haven't heard of LimeWire in forever. We got SwiftCoin. We can try to take a look at that one as well. Let me get that typed out right. There we go. I'm not seeing any other alt requests, so we've got 5 for now. Let's hop over to our news article. We got Polymarket still skeptical of U.S. Bitcoin reserve despite David Sachs' assurance. Polymarket only sees a 16% chance that Donald Trump will order the creation of the strategic Bitcoin reserve in the first 100 days of its administration, despite assurances from the crypto czar David Sachs that there's an effort underway to explore the idea. Sweet. Oh, let me get that one added to the list because it was the only one up. All right, got that one added too. The big up on it. So President Trump has asked us to study the issue, so we're not ready to comment on it yet. but it's one of the things our working groups are going to look at, Sachs said in a recent appearance on Fox. Senator Cynthia Lummis, a Wyoming Republican who is known for her Bitcoin-friendly policy stance, has submitted a bill proposing the creation of a reserve, but this is a separate measure from the White House's efforts. The bill proposes establishing a Bitcoin purchase program of up to 200,000 Bitcoin a year over a 5-year period and will be partially funded by reevaluating the Federal Reserve's gold, CoinDesk previously reported. Right now, the bill is before the Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs. Among the supporters of such a move is MicroStrategy's Michael Saylor, who said the plan will protect the dollar and also really help his stock price. So I think there's a dual reason for him supporting that one. The best way to protect the dollar is to make sure you retire the debt and become rich, said MicroStrategy executive chairman during a November conference. The best way to protect the dollar is to make sure that if anybody ever considers a different capital asset other than the Treasury bill, you own it. Meanwhile, the state of Texas recently said that it's working on its own strategic Bitcoin reserve. Polymarket bettors are giving a 53% chance that bill greenlighting the creation of such a reserve in 2025. This is something where I definitely have a few thoughts on the Bitcoin strategic reserve. If you didn't see on Crypto Coin Mindsets channel, we will be talking about this tonight. Let me get that link shared in the chat for you. We will be discussing this and the possibilities of a strategic reserve that is not just Bitcoin based, and both the positives and the negatives of both of these. So go ahead and check that out a little later. But I do think that we might see this come a little bit outside that first 100 days of the administration, especially since there is a lot for President Trump to handle, given that he wants to change the tariffs, he wants to change the taxes, and he wants to try to force a bunch of these companies to bring back manufacturing to the US to kind of boost jobs. He does have a lot on his plate, and I don't think crypto is the biggest of worries for this administration right now. I know he did make a lot of crypto promises, but we're a small part of the economy. So I do think a lot of these other issues are also more important, and that it's okay to kind of see that pushed back outside the 100 days, especially as there are a lot of things to do, and he had a lot of promises that he made. I think we see this a little bit later in the administration. I see Crypto Billy in the chat saying, good morning, it's going to be a great day. And most it definitely is, sir. I am quite happy that we might see some more buying opportunities here. Billy, you missed a great stream from Frankie last night, says Jesse. Crypto Billy saying good morning to everyone in the chats. They came out with a project back in 2022, bought LimeWire at 7 cents, got it at 50 million users at the time without social media having faith in it long term, says Al Jr. I might have to dive into that. I didn't know anything about that, so I will definitely dive into that when I've got some time today. We've got Indie Rock Crypto in the house. Good morning to you, sir. And everyone is saying good morning to everyone in the chat. Went into, oh my God, Jesse, I'm not reading that one on the chat. As Al Jr. says, hashtag Diddy entered the chat. Yeah, I'm gonna skip all over that comment, Jesse. All right, let's get to this next article. El Salvador rushes in new Bitcoin law to comply with IMF deal. El Salvador's Congress has reportedly swiftly approved legislation to amend its Bitcoin laws to comply with a deal struck with the International Monetary Fund to adjust its exposure to crypto. The bill, ratified by the country's legislative assembly just minutes after President Nayib Bukele sent it to the legislation. El Salvador struck a 1.4 billion loan deal with the IMF in December, with the agency requiring the Bukele's government to scale back its involvement in Bitcoin and make Bitcoin an optional and voluntary for private sector merchants. The reform was passed by 55 votes in favor and only 2 against. Previously, it was a legal requirement for businesses to accept Bitcoin as payment. Ruling party lawmaker Elisa Rosales said the amendment was needed to guarantee Bitcoin's performance as legal tender while facilitating its practical implementation. El Salvador has continued its accumulation of Bitcoin, purchasing an additional 12 Bitcoin for the country's strategic reserves. An El Salvador Bitcoin office spokesperson told Cointelegraph last month that the country intends to keep buying Bitcoin, with plans to intensify in 2025. We have achieved not only the greatest rebrand in history, but we are now an actual case study for winning country strategy, the spokesperson said. El Salvador currently holds 6,049 Bitcoin, worth around 633 million, according to the Bitcoin office official tracker. The portfolio has made up 127% profit, with an average purchase price of $46,000 per Bitcoin. It's kind of sad to see them backtracking on some of their Bitcoin stances. They are going to continue buying, which is good. They need that strength in their country, but to kind of force these private sector merchants, which they had been forcing them to accept a Bitcoin if someone wanted to purchase with Bitcoin, is a bit of a backtrack there, especially when these people might pay their taxes with Bitcoin. So it kind of helps you out on that strategic Bitcoin reserve here. We'll kind of have to see how this all plays out. But as we all know, money talks, BS walks. So we'll have to see how the rest of this plays out and see what the case study is for the rest of these countries. I know this has been the first country that did this, and it's been a big mover for a bunch of other countries to kind of pick up on the strategic Bitcoin reserve talk. So hopefully they can keep that going there. I was taking a look at gold the other day. We did get a nice solid bounce right at where I wanted to see things. We did get a little bit of a wicking below there to try to test on that 100 moving average as we try to push back up to all-time highs on gold. You do see your 1 hour on your MACD looking like it's got plenty of room to run here, as your MACD line is creating quite a bit of space from your indicator line, as they're both looking quite to the upside here. Money flows coming in, volume is staying quite nice here, but you are seeing a bit of some overbought signals flashing as we approach that all-time high, and that's where you might see a slight rejection coming in. We will have to take a look at that higher term time frame here on our daily to kind of see what the long term potential is. And this is where you do see a lot of continued upside here. Your money flow is just starting to pick up here on the daily, as your volume is staying quite nice and green, holding quite nicely here. Your MACD is seeing a bit of some curvature, but it's also seeing that slight look back to the upside as it looks to create some more space from this indicator line and continue that run up there. And we do get above that all-time high on gold. Let me get that drawn out here. That is going to be that 2,787 mark, which we would need to get above and turn into some support here. I do think we see a bit of resistance coming into that before we really make that pushback above, especially since that is the all-time high and has a bunch of selling pressure at that range. You do have plenty of areas to kind of bounce below that. That's gonna be about that 2,774 range, where we did see a bit of resistance here, which it looks like we got a bit of a bounce from as we've made this pushback to the upside here. Let me get that zoomed in just a little bit more there. As you can kind of see, you did have that bouncing quite nicely as we pushed back above it. It'd be a nice area to come and retest here. We'll have to watch as we continue moving on up to the upside. We are retesting some of the highs from back here before we try to push to that all-time high on gold. We will probably come back and retest some of these as you are seeing your prime oscillator get a bit of some curvature back to the upside. As it is in that red range, but that money flow is nice and solid and green, looking to pick up just a little bit more. You have volume slowing up just a little bit, and your MACD is looking to cool off just a bit here. So definitely have a bit of a sideways range that we can make here, as long as we don't break these highs from back here. We are pretty good for a sideways move here as we cool off some of our indicators to continue that push back up to all-time highs. And let's take a look at silver as well. I have been watching these precious metals as we have seen a lot of uncertainty in the market. It is sitting quite nicely at that same kind of area as we did see on gold. We do have an area right below us at $31.77, which we might see a little bouncing if we end up losing this to 236 there on our Fibonacci retracement. We are trying to get above a very macro trend line here, and we might need to see a bit of some cooling off on our oscillators here on the shorter term time frames. You are seeing a bit of some bad data heading our way, so this is where you might see some buying pressure coming in if you see some bad data at that 8:30 time frame here this morning. This is going to be that pressure for the precious metals here. You are seeing the 1 hour seeing a bit of some rollover here as well on the MACD, as well as your prime oscillator seeing a multiple reversal signals and some overbought signals as well. But your money flows really starting to come in with that buying pressure. You do have that 4 hour looking like it's got plenty more room to run though. You get a bit of a reversal signal flashing, but your money flows are just starting to pick up on the 4 hour here as well as the volume. So we'll have to watch this at market open because we will have that data coming out 30 minutes before market open. All right there. Let's take a look at some of these alt requests. Let me get over to the right tab there. All right, we had a Pepe requested, and let's take a look at Pepe. I think this is a naked chart because I'm gonna be honest, I never look at meme coins. It's not a thing for me. I'm not a big fan of the memes, but I know they are a decent play. I just play on what I know, and I trade Bitcoin, and I hold like 5 other assets. That's it. I'm not big on the alts. I'm more of a Bitcoin maxi, and I like to use whatever can get me more Bitcoin here. So we do see us as sitting right above that platinum pocket there, and we are trying to hold that there. The daily is right at a point where we might see that move back up here. We might see a bit of resistance as we try to come into the golden pocket at 0.0001447. Let's get that horizontal ray drawn out there. This is a daily little resistance range we might see as we come back up towards that golden pocket there. Baba Yas can't help but appreciate BC's rapid smooth talking mode. Go BC. I appreciate that, Baba Yas, and good morning to you. I hope you're having a great morning so far. Let's see. Anything else in the chat? Y'all talking about you guys make this the best job ever, trading with pretty much everyone from the same communities throughout the whole day, every day. LFG blessings to everyone. I appreciate that, Al Jr., and so does the rest of the community. We got Crypto Mike K in the chat. Good morning to you. maybe a Band-Aid out, Junior. Honestly, all I remember about it was when I was a kid, I had it on my first computer. No matter what I did, I could not fully delete that program off my PC. Yeah, that's because it was both a program and kind of a bit of a virus, you know? Uh, once you put a virus on your PC, it's kind of hard to get it away. And now they've just got different software which they do that with. So let's dive this on in to a lower term time frame and take a look at that 1 hour for Pepe, because this is where we're going to see the next few days playing out here. You do see us getting a bit of a rollover here on your MACD, but we are looking to maintain this platinum pocket quite nicely here. If we do see Bitcoin dropping quite heavily, this is where you might see us lose this platinum pocket. This would be where I would look at buying pressure on your more macro time frames. If you have some confidence that we might be moving to the upside on Pepe when we get that last push up on things. Jay Violet dropping that Discord link in the chat. I appreciate you. Thank you for that. Definitely check out that Discord if you haven't. We've got a lot of information there. Let's zoom it on in to that 15-minute, see what the morning is bringing our way. Looking like a bit of some selling pressure is coming on in. You do see that MACD getting that curvature just like the prime oscillator already got there. The MACD is a bit of a lagging indicator sometimes, but seeing that MACD line kind of start to move more sideways on here, looks like we might just continue to make these higher lows here, and we should try to push back above some of this range here at 0.0001336, which has been very, very strong resistance here. So this would be that first area we need to get above and confirm as support, and this is what it looks like we're trying to do here on Pepe for the morning. I know you did ask about maybe needing to sell. Let's take a look at more of the macro here. This is where if you have conviction in your project, actually let's move this retracement line just a little bit and get that on the actual lows there. There you go. And it looks like we're trying to retest the golden pocket there and not the platinum pocket. So better little view there. Let's hide that one and kind of see what we're looking at for a Fibonacci extension to what we might get to. Because seeing push-ups and decent size retracements on these meme projects is very healthy for it. So we've got the low to the high to the low here, and it looks like we're getting a bit of a 382 bounce here. This is a very healthy for a continuation on Pepe. We do have a bit of a rollover here on the weekly, so if we are able to cool down these oscillators on your higher term time frames the same way as the daily and maintain some of this range here above that 0.0001232, that would be a very healthy move to continue that move on to the upside for Pepe. We did get a breakout above that zero line before we really started a bit of a retracement here. Got a heavy bounce off of that 50% line, and we try to maintain bullishness. We're only able to get up to that one line again before we really dropped off quite heavily. I see Lunar Beaches in the chat and Darren Does Things. Good morning to both of you. Hope you're having a great day so far. All right, we got Pepe knocked off the list. We got Venice coin that was requested. Might have to add this if you keep asking for it, Jesse. We got VVV. Oh, not VVVG, VVV. And let's take a look at it on Coinbase. I believe that's what oh, no, this is why I didn't do anything on it the other day. I didn't know which one had the most history. We are in a bit of a downtrend here. You are seeing the MACD below your zero line on your 15-minute as you're seeing heavy rollover, reversal signals, money flow looking kind of crap as well. If I don't have a previous price history on it, then it's kind of hard to really gauge. Does anyone know where is the most data on Venice. We will hop over to XRP as y'all give me that information because I'm gonna try to dive through a bunch of alts today. Let's see where XRP is sitting for the higher term time frames. Let's take a look at the daily first. You do see a bit of some sideways movement and a bit of a curvature back to the upside here. It just got listed, so I see a lot of opportunities. I know it just got listed, but I know it was talked about before. So if there's not a way for me to really see the price history from before it got listed, it's really hard to gauge where we might see those bounces on the project, especially since it's just in a downtrend. And if I don't know what like some resistance points were from before, it's going to be kind of hard to gauge that or even draw like a fib extension or a fib retracement, because since it got listed it's just been selling pressure. So I wouldn't know where to try to jump in at, because all of those indicators on even like the 1 hour are looking like continued selling pressure. So it'd be hard for me to really tell you anything. So VVV is brand new. Eric Vorthson's project. So brand new, brand new. It wasn't listed anywhere before. So it'd be kind of hard to really gauge anything on it. It's just in a giant downtrend. So it does look like it's trying to maintain price just a little bit. We'll take a look at that back on the Coinbase chart after I dive into XRP and Solana and Sui. I did have Swift requested as well, so I'll save that for the end because I've never looked at it before. You do have volume looking to pick back up here on XRP as your True 7 is really trying to hit that bottoming point before it really gets that move back up. This is where you are going to look for your MACD and your prime oscillator to try to cool off just a little bit more and maintain this 236 and $3.06. This has been a nice little area to lose over and over again on XRP. As soon as we get above it, we've lost it. Maintain some of the lower fibs before we really get that push back above to lose it. We did maintain quite a psychological level at that $3 here. So that'd be that next little that last little stand for XRP. VVV or any new coin usually has a pre-sale death spiral after they have the listing pumps. Yeah, and that's why I avoid both on the stock market. I avoid IPOs and I avoid ICOs as well. I wait for that to kind of bottom out first before I really buy in on it, because why would I buy in on something that's in a massive downtrend? I want to confirm the bottom first and then wait for that upside move, that first little upside move before I really buy in. That's what I did on Reddit when it IPO'd last year. I waited for that death spiral, waited for the bottom, bought in, sold off at a top, and then rebought back in. And it's done quite nicely this past year. So definitely a good little move that I made, but I don't buy the initial offering. My friend did. He made decent money and then sold off and then just completely ignored the project the rest of the year. So not a bad move either. Sometimes it does play out, but a lot of the times it goes the wrong way first, and then you find that bottom, and then you see that buying pressure coming on in. It does look like the 1 hour is getting a bit of a rollover here on XRP as well. We saw a brief appearance of your MACD line above the 0 line before it really started seeing heavy curvature. You've got these bars slowing up on your MACD as well. Got a brief little move back into the heavy green before we've started slowing back on the histogram, looking to try to see our first red bar here in the next hour. You do have your prime oscillator with some divergences and getting a rollover as we are solid red here. The volume slowing up just a little bit, so seeing some volume coming back in here at that $3 mark would psychological $3 mark would be that move to really see, unless we're seeing some heavy selling pressure across the markets. Let's zoom it on into that 15-minute, see what the morning is bringing our way. You are starting to see some reversal signals flashing. Your prime oscillator is quite red, but both of these are looking for some continued downside. Might see a little bit of a bounce here at your 236 and a move back up, and see some pressure at some resistance pressure at that $3.09 before we really continue that downtrend. Your volume is looking quite ugly here, and your prime oscillator has only briefly gone green as we try to maintain some of these prices. So definitely looking like we might try to retest some of these bottom side psychological numbers for XRP before we really try to continue that uptrend. We're sitting up quite nicely on XRP, and this all-time high is going to be that next point where we really try to break above. That's $3.19. That would be the more macro that we would want to see, but it's not looking too nice on that 1 hour or that 15-minute, 4 hour, looking like we might see a bit of some continued upside once we get that bouncing point down here. But that MACD is getting a bit of a rollover there as well. And the prime oscillator staying green though, as it is getting the rollover, so that might be a continued upside on XRP. Let's take a look at SWE. It did explode quite nicely from yesterday. I know Piper talked about on his show, so shout out to Piper on that call. That was a great call there. Where is it on my list? I know I have it here. Is it in my favorites? I know I had it. Let me just search it instead. SWE. Oh, there it is, SWE. Let's take a look at SWE here. Let's zoom that on out to our daily, see where we're sitting on it. We do have the MACD and your prime oscillator looking like they want to continue some upside here. Definitely a nice thing to see for the macro, looking like that 50% Fibonacci is going to be our strong support there. We did get a lot of wicking to that, and it looks like it's been holding quite nicely since we got above it. That was at $3.48. We'll kind of have to see if we're able to maintain this 382 there, because as we got that pushback up, and then it dropped to below the 236, we lost the 382 as well. We are looking for some continued upside on that 1 day. That prime oscillator is light red, and your MACD is getting the curvature to the upside here. Your 4 hour looking like we're starting to see a bit of some resistance here on our prime oscillator as we got up to this level I had marked out. That was at $4.26. Then we might try to continue to push up to, we might get that bounce off of the 382 first before we really try to make that push back up. We'll kind of have to see if what that 15-minute is showing us for that. But that would be that next little target range I would look at. We got some nice candle bodies off of it from here as we try to maintain that push back up to that 236. It is from back here on higher term time frames where we got equal candle bodies, and that level right above that being that $4.36, which would be that next little point to try to turn into some support as we make that move back up to the 236. We got nice little equal candle bodies there, a lot of wicking up to it, and nice little wicks on that bottom side on the $4.26. So definitely going to be a little bit of a battle here in this range. We did make a little bit of an order block here in that range as well, and right below it. So we are sitting in that, and we are trying to maintain some of this level here at $4.09. It's going to be that point. If we lose it, we will probably come all the way back down to the 382 there. Let's take a look at that 15-minute, see what the morning is bringing our way. You know, have these oscillators cooling off quite nicely here. Your prime oscillator looking a bit to the downside as we have been moving sideways after some reversal signals have flashed. We get a reversal signal back here, completely ignored it as our prime oscillator cooled off, as well as the MACD. Your prime oscillator is looking for a heavy cool off here as your volume is maintaining, and your MACD is looking for a heavy cool off as well. Seeing a bit of some curvature on the MACD, so might be that continued upside that we might see if we bounce off of the highs here. That's that $4.04, kind of $4 to 9 cent range that I had talked about. Definitely a bit of an area which we might see that bounce range in on sweet. LBC knows, sorry I had to French out abruptly last night. I have a full day of conversions and recharacterization and tax corrections and direct transfers and redesignations and coding. Sounds like a busy day. I don't know what happened there, but good morning to you, Wick 589. Wick, I have slept roughly 3.5 hours. Yeah, Wick saying I would not be able to function. Neither would I. I'm a complete a-hole if I don't get like my 7 to 8 hours every night. Jesse, look in the mirror. Does your reflection show? Oh, bat, lol. I'm Batman. All right, we did take a look at Sweet as well. We took a look at Sol and XRP. We did have VVV that we can dive back into after I take a look at Swift. I know it was requested. Let's take a look at it. I'm not sure what it's on. Swift looks like a pancake swap and BNB. Looks like a new project here. I'm not sure what it is, but it's in a massive uptrend there. Seeing a bit of looks like a brand new project too. So I don't know how deep I can really dive into this. Lunar Beach is saying I'm lucky to get 5 hours of sleep. Yeah, you do that late night show and then you hop into my show, so I know you don't get much sleep. I don't know how you do it. I'd be a complete a-hole to everyone. So I guess kids have trained you quite well. My girl only gets like 5 hours of sleep too, and she somehow is able to do it. I don't know how, but like kudos to y'all parents, cause you are like some superheroes. Cause I could not do it. I'd be a complete grump every single day. You have a bit of an area here on Swift at 56 cents, which you might start seeing some resistance. That's what 1618 on a Fibonacci extension there. Other than that, I can't really give a whole lot. You are looking to see some overbought and reversal signals start flashing as we approach that range. MACD looking like it's got plenty of room to run here on the 15-minute. The 1 hour probably going to start seeing that same thing popping up here soon. Money flows really picking back up after we got that push back to the upside, but it's starting to move a little more sideways as it's green there. That's where I'd really look at that 1618 for that first resistance area. Not sure what this project is. It is brand new and it's on Pancake Swap. So kudos to you if you got in. I know it was requested. That was quite a nice catch there. VVV. Let's take a look back at it for Jesse. See what we might see here. We're starting to see some of our first little cool down on some of these indicators here. 15-minute money flow still looking back down on things. So I'm not really sure where that sell-off might stop. We're sitting at $7.67. Looking like a more sideways movement as we're getting a bit of some cool off here on your prime oscillator, but your MACD is looking across that indicator line on the bottom side, up 2% in the last 54 minutes. Yeah, I mean it's just small movements though. So if you're trading this on some leverage, then you might be able to squeeze some gains out on it. I wouldn't be trading something this brand new. is not got any clear patterns so far, and you're just kind of waiting for that bottoming point on it to come in and really bring it that buying pressure. You do see a bit of a curvature here on your MACD to try to push back to the upside, but your prime oscillator looking like it's headed down, heavy red, straight from green, with reversal signals flashing, volume looking to roll over a little bit, your money flow also being some selling pressure. 5 minute very low, very big slow up on volume. Your money flow is just oscillating back and forth from selling pressure to buying pressure here. MACD looking to try to hit that cross back above the zero line briefly. This is where we'll really need to confirm the bottom here. 1 minute, let's see, getting extremely overheated on the 1 minute. So as we're seeing those brief pushes up, it is really overheating. So let's see on a, not a horizontal, let's see if it's a clear trend line there. Kinda off of negating some of the bottoms out there. Let's see, off of the candle bodies. Kind of a brief trend there. Go off the wicks. Even then, it's not it's not really making any clear patterns just yet. So definitely have a strong resistance area to the top side. Looking at that, $7.94, just briefly below that $8. That'd be that first little area where we might see some resistance. We are making some higher lows for the first time on the 1 minute, 5 minute, making higher lows as well. Really going to need to break some of the highs though that we made. You've got that area above at $8.31. So if we really continue that, we just got, I would want to confirm the uptrend really, because if you would need to get above these levels, really get that pushback up, and that's where I would wait to really hop in and confirm the bottom is in before I really try to hop in on anything. You can just do your own thing though, Jesse. I know you're a degen. So I don't know what else to say on it. I hate brand new projects. So may we look at the regular Swift coin FWFTC. I can take a look at that tomorrow for you. The show is at the end there. It is almost time to hop over to that Alexo Crypto Show. As you join that chat, make sure to drop those Piper Academy alumni in the chat. Let them know it's a Piper Academy raid. Make sure to tune in to the morning market report at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Piper will break down all that GDP data we are getting first thing in the morning today. We do have a Trade Academy with Trade Intuition at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Great place to learn that TA and kind of how to break down charts. We do have a Crypto Nightcap at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That is going to be with FD White and TradeFly. They do an amazing job as well. I love FD White's charting. So I normally don't hop in the chats because I'm heading to bed there. So I just kind of tune in and watch. But I know you'll have a lot of fun in the chat there. Great place, great community for that show. We've got Markets After Dark with Lunar Beaches Crypto at 11 p.m. Eastern. For all you that don't like sleep, that's the place to be. So hope to see you all in the Alexo Crypto chat and at the morning market report. I'll take a nap this afternoon. I'll end up being up late. Oh, well. Hope you all have a great day. Make sure to wake up, cause today's gonna be a good day and might be a volatile day.